My son screams, "Mommy, TK stopped breathing." So then the doctor comes to me and she says to me, "I'm sorry, but dead on arrival." I said to that doctor, "Not my child. It can't be. My daughter was not sick. She can't be dead." And the doctor says to me, "The machine is breathing for your child." So all I could hear was toot, 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 toot. And then she says to me, "Please just wait and listen." So as it's going toot, 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 there's a toot. Then it stops. Then after a few minutes, toot, and she says, "Those ones your daughter's fighting." That's when social media went at me. That's when the so-called Christians said, "Touch not my anointed." You went and spoke about TB Joshua 3 days ago. Now the God of TB Joshua is showing you who he is. Your daughter died because you spoke about TB Joshua. Stop talking about the man of God, otherwise your son is next. That is when social media, that is when I learned that Christians are cruel. They've got a history of aneurysms. And you find with children, when an aneurysm bursts, as it bursts, 60% of the time it's fatal. And if a child survives from an aneurysm burst, they'll never be the same. They'll be wheelchair bound. They won't be able to talk. Because once you have a brain bleed, it wipes away brain memory. So it means she would have been in a wheelchair and a cabbage all her life. That's when social media went at me. That's when the so-called Christians said, "Touch not my anointed." You went and spoke about TB Joshua 3 days ago. Now the God of TB Joshua is showing you who he is. Your daughter died because you spoke about TB Joshua. Stop talking about the man of God, otherwise your son is next. That is when social media, that is when I learned that Christians are cruel. That is when I learned that the title of being a Christian carries a lot of cruelty with it. I've just lost a child. I've just lost a 10-year-old child. That's when bloggers from Zimbabwe, from wherever, started saying, "Yes, I'm a prostitute." That's when my private numbers were leaked on social media, and somebody started creating messages as if it's from my WhatsApp messages, saying to people I'm offering sexual services to them. That's when my phone was people were phoning, asking for sexual services from me. That's when one blogger from Zimbabwe went on to say, "I'm a prostitute. I've been wanting to seduce all these pastors, or I've slept with all these pastors." Look, there was nothing under the face of the sun that social media did not say about me when I lost my daughter, more especially Christians. So my daughter died because the BBC documentary dropped on the 8th of January. And according to the Christian society, touch not my anointed. And that's my repercussion for speaking out of the abuse I went through. So
losing your daughter to the Christian community in the world at large was a consequence.
Yeah.
A consequence of you spending your childhood being abused,
Yes.
violated.
Yes.
Christians who are supposed to anchor their beliefs on the cornerstone of love.
Yeah.
Because they are papa.
Yeah.
Can never do wrong.
Yeah. And that's when my family then decided to just step in and and take my phones, and my sister-in-law took my phones, and they were like, Sihle, you stay off social media. Because that's when people were just gunning after, like, I've just lost a child.
Yeah.
And that's when one social blogger from Zimbabwe said, I killed my child, or I strangled my child, and we're going to cremate my child because we're going to hide the evidence, just like I killed my husband, my late husband who passed away in 2016. And I did a ritual for my daughter to die. There's nothing they never said. And that's when, as a family, my family protected me. The Sibisi family, umamkhulu wami, my mom's blood sister, my mom's elder sister, the firstborn, she was by my side through it all. My umamkhulu wami was Thembisa, umamkhulu Zandile, and my brother's wife, Bridget, she was by my side through it all. So I had the Sibisi family and the Nkosi family carrying me through all of this. And they were like, we're not going to listen to what social media says. We know what the autopsy says. In as much as we don't know what brain aneurysm is, ruptured brain aneurysm is, we'll learn about it later, but right now we need to bury our child. And that's one of the reasons why at my daughter's funeral, we opened the casket and we allowed people to go view her. Because rumor had it, it's either she's going to have strangle marks, and yet she was wearing her beautiful dress that she wore once. She wore it at the Miss Soweto pageant when she went there to support Miss Cikizwa, who was her model coach since she was 3 years old. Yeah. She was wearing her pink dress. It's a low neck dress, so you could see if there were scars. There was nothing. And people went to see her because others thought there'd be stones and whatever. But the greatest pain of it all was, I thought when funerals happen, you would expect reconciliation, right? You'd expect even those that you're fighting with to say,
soften their hearts.
You know what? Let's come bury the child.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't even know where I stay. They had to call her to say your granddaughter passed on. They had to send her my address. They had to send her location of where I stay. And when she got there, she walked into the house, walked into my bedroom, and she said, I remember she stood and she had her hands folded like this. And she said, what happened to the child? And I was sitting with my son on my bed. So my son was afraid now. He says, but mommy, we're going to get arrested when Gogo is here because remember the protection order. And I said to him, no, she's come to us. We haven't gone to her, so we're safe. And when we explained what happened, immediately she said, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Lord, we glorify your name. You have done it. You have done it for us. And my whole body went numb. My whole body went numb. Then she turned and she said to me, what do you want me to do for you? And I said, I just want you to be there for me. And then she turned and said to my son, what do you want me to do for you? And my son said, I just want you to just love me. And she said, oh, well, I just have a cabbage. I'm going to donate one cabbage. It's in the boot. That's all I have. And then I have to go. And then she stepped out and left. That was the end of it. And the next time I saw her was at my daughter's funeral. And at my daughter's funeral, this is actually the third time I wear this headgear. I wore it for the first time at my daughter's funeral because the theme was pink and white.
Yeah.
And I wore it for the second time at a women's event. And today I felt, let me just wear it. And she was the only one dressed in black from head to toe. She was wearing this long garment, like these, I don't know if you watch these Nigerian garments, these long black garments.
Yes.
Yeah, she was wearing like a long black garment, the only one. Because we had said, if you're a man and you're wearing a suit, please at least wear a pink tie or a pink flower, but you need pink to be visible.
Sure. Because it's a young girl's
celebration. It's a young girl's celebration, yes. I mean, even the funeral parlor that did my daughter's funeral, they literally had to get the couches custom made into sweet pink because I wanted sweet pink couches for the family, for my daughter. And her coffin was white and the flowers were pink, silver. It was beautiful. So I'm told that she arrived there by 6 a.m. I'm told by the venue people. And I'm told by because the MC and the people who were planning were there before me, the people who were doing decor and everything.
Sure.
They say she arrived and they think she was anointing every corner of that hall. I don't know what she was doing. But the bottom line is, throughout the funeral, was she not dancing? Was she not having, for her, was dancing as if it's a party. And she was taking pictures. And at that time, I had asked to tell the program director to say, please tell people not to take pictures and videos. And the reason why I didn't want that, I'm trending already. I didn't want people to take pictures of my daughter's funeral, then it's trending on social media. So I remember a friend of mine, Palisa Mudisekwane, she went to my mom. She didn't even know it's my mom. But she went there and said, sorry, ma'am, can you please stop taking pictures because we asked not to. And Palisa then tells me later that she said, I'm Sihle's mother, don't you know? And Palisa was shocked. She said, I didn't know Sihle had a mother, I'm sorry. And she walked away. And when we went to the gravesite, the pastors, my daughter's burial was handled by Umam Ngobo noBab Ngobo. They're formerly known, or they're known as SIHLE SIBISI.
Yes, yes.
And they decided amongst themselves that they're going to wear white. So they brought other pastors, but all the pastoral team, they were all dressed in white.
Yes, yes.
Because we're sending off an angel.
Sure.
And Mam Ngobo preached about love at the funeral. She preached about love, and her preaching was just, it was, oh my God, the Sibisi family came from everywhere. They all came from KZN, they were there. So at the graveyards, when my daughter's coffin was lined up before it went down, Mam Ngobo and the pastoral team is there. And they were praying. And then as the casket was about to go down, so when I watched the video, I saw myself. At that moment, I didn't know, but when I watched the video later, as the casket was going down, I literally threw myself into the grave. So I was held down. So they say half my body was inside. I literally was going in with my daughter. So as that was happening, apparently my mom stood up and she went there and she had a bottle of oil that she wanted to throw into the coffin. And a brother of mine, Snobile, said to her, what are you doing? Because the pastors were praying as the coffin was going down.
Correct.
And Snobile said to her, what are you doing? She said, I'm going to throw this. He said, she says, and in the conversation I'm told, she says, I'm going to scream. And he says, well, you can't put anything in this coffin and you can't be around this coffin right now. Please go and sit down. Literally, the funeral parlor people had to help to remove her from that place.
Sure.
So they removed her, and when they removed her, now remember, when all of this is happening, I'm now trying to get into the grave and they're trying to stop me. My brothers are holding me back. And I'm told afterwards, and when I saw the video, she went into her car and she was hooting as if it's a wedding. Like wedding hoots, like it's a wedding. And that's when, for me, I realized that Christians are cruel. Those who claim to be Christians, those who are Bible readers, those who appear on TV, because how painful is it that my mother appears on TV because her church is on TV. She's got spiritual children that she prays for, that she loves, that adore her. And when they look at her, they think she's the greatest being on earth. But her own biological child, she wants nothing to do with. And that's when I saw that, okay, you know what? I need to learn to accept an apology that I may never receive for my own sanity. Because even the death of my daughter was not able to bring forth reconciliation
between us. Yeah.
Because what crime have I done to you for you to hate me this much? My own biological sisters also did not even come to the funeral. I hear they were there, but they were sitting in the car. So I'm like, what was the point? So for me, if you say you're a Christian, good for you, you're a Christian. But in my world right now, those who claim to be Christians, those fireproof, fire-praying Christians, those ones, they did me dirty. They were very cruel towards me during the death of my daughter. So that goes back to why I say my heart is at a point of contentment, because my son doesn't have aneurysms. We know he's diagnosed with depression. He's on medication for it. And I'm thankful to the psychiatrist. I'm thankful to my family. And I'm thankful for those people on social media who still love me beyond it all. And also thankful to those who hate me. Thankful to those who still want to speak nonsense about me and curse me and hate me, because then you're giving me more reason to want to find this God. You're giving me more reason to want to journey, because I'm in pursuit of finding this God. I don't want somebody to say to me, God said. God did this, because I was introduced to the wrong God. When they said God is saying...
Was it even God?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I'm in pursuit of finding this God, having my own personal encounter. But I do believe there is a God, because I see in my life, if there was no God, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking to you.
Sure.
Chances are I also would have died with my daughter.
Yeah, you would have followed her in
I would
that
have
moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And chances are, with everything that I've trended for in this world, I would have died by then. So I do believe there's a God, but I don't want somebody to say to me, God said. No. Because when somebody said to me, God said, there was abuse that would come with it. So when you're a Christian and you are fireproofing, fire tongue speaking Christian, in my world, you played a role in hurting me. So when I talk of grief, I'm still grieving and mourning and trying to heal from all of that also, and reconciling to the fact that Christians hurt me in the worst way possible. But at the same time, if my own biological mother and my own biological sisters will not want me and will ill-treat me like that, why should I really be hurt by people that I'm not even related to?
There's something you said that a lot of the bloggers and Christian society came like a ton of bricks on you and made you feel like you deserved what happened to you as a consequence of exposing the abuse and the violence that you went through in the church, as per the BBC documentary. Did you ever internalize that guilt of maybe I shouldn't have done that, and really it is a consequence?
Never, because I've been talking about the abuse that I experienced at the hands of TB Joshua while he was still alive. So that is why people who are only introduced to me now, they are the ones that will say, why are they talking when he's passed on?
Sure.
They are the ones that will say, why is the documentary out when he's passed on? In my private capacity, I've been talking while he was still alive. And when the BBC was doing the documentary, they did he knew the documentary was going to come out. They did send him documentation, legal documentations for a right of reply. Unfortunately, he passed on.
In the process
Before the documentary could come out.
Yeah.
So people who are introduced, that's why those who will want to say, you're only talking now because he's dead, touch not my anointed, who they only getting to know SIHLE SIBISI now. They introduced to me now. They don't know, because even after he passed on, I was interviewed to say, how do I feel that he's passed on? I said, condolences to his wife. But all I'm saying is he robbed us of closure, because we wanted to know what his right of reply would have been. So never did I feel the guilt of saying I shouldn't have spoken out. No, I needed people to be aware, not just me. I mean, there are people from Singapore, people from all over the world, USA. If you watch the
We definitely watched
documentary,
it, yeah.
everyone globally
yeah,
saying
the
same thing.
Yeah.
So if SIHLE SIBISI is lying, are you saying to me that all of us on that documentary came together and lied? It can't be.
You guys weren't even together.
We were not even. I didn't
We're
even
in
know.
different parts of the world.
Didn't even know
Yeah.
that who was being interviewed, because remember at TB Joshua's church, if you watch the documentary, there was that divide and rule system where we couldn't trust each other. So I didn't know if he was doing that to you or doing whatever to whoever. So we didn't even know who was being interviewed until we had the reunion for it.
God has a funny way of returning us back to our purpose even after trauma.
Yeah.
You now host a show called Fake Pastors, which is a show that exposes pastors and prophets and
Yeah.
preachers who are using dark spirits or scamming for
Yeah.
money, many ills of this world,
Yeah.
in order to brainwash and
Yeah.
control people. A lot of people in South Africa, especially, are suffering from this
Yeah.
religious psychosis.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
It is, yeah.
They go into a trance in churches that is unbelievable,
Mm.
that has nothing to do with God. Why do you think people are suffering so much from religious psychosis in this country?
It's the grooming. I mean, I was groomed. And everyone, and here's the thing, people in South Africa need to understand that I don't hate pastors. I'm not against whatever religion they believe in. But what happens with the show is somebody writes to Mojalav and say, this pastor did 1, 2, 3. There's an investigator who will go and investigate and verify.
Mm-hmm.
And only then do I come into the picture, because they've investigated. Here's the proof. So I go as a mediator.
Yeah.
And you find what happens is there's grooming that happens. These pastors are very good at grooming you into thinking that they are the mouthpiece and the voices of God. And if you do not do that which they say, there are consequences you will suffer. That is why most of them, when you leave their churches, they will tell the ones that are still within the church to say, the one that has left, don't speak to them, because they are evil now. They are demonic. They are masters at manipulating people for them to hand over their houses, their monies, their cars, you name it. They've become masters at this. For me, it's no longer about church. For them, it's a business. For them, it's occultic. That's why I say church hurt is real.
Mm-hmm.
And every person that comes on our show, I believe them. Because some of them, you sit with them, and some of the time when I'm helping these people, I look at myself and I think,
I used to be there.
Yeah, I used to be there, but at the same time, I wish someone could help me.
Like this.
I wish somebody could help me face my mom.
Yeah.
I wish somebody, because she is a pastor in her church. I wish somebody could go with me to her and sit down and say, let's iron it out. What's going on? But because of the gag order, the protection order, I can't do that. I wish somebody could help me go see my senior sister. I can't do that because she's married to my uncle and my uncle's a pastor and there's a protection order. I can't do that. So as I'm hosting the show, for me, it's a healing vehicle for me, where I'm saying I am healing as others are getting healed and they are getting their justice through the hurt that they've been through, because church hurt is real.
We're nearing the end of our conversation. The continuum of healing is a long process. It has ups and downs, troughs, highs and lows. The painful, tragic loss of your daughter, TK, where are we in this cycle of healing today?
Whew. I think for me, like I said to you 2-3 days before I came here, when my son had the episode, a lot of triggers came up again. And I found myself crying as if it was the first time my daughter passed on. I even went live on social media and I was crying. And I was crying. And some people were saying, why are you crying publicly? And I'm thinking, why should you only see my life when I'm happy? I don't see myself as a celebrity. I'm not. I'm a normal human being. And maybe if somebody sees me as raw as I am in my pain, somebody out there is drawing strength to say, so behind the makeup, when she's home, she's actually a human being. She's a normal person. That's why I always say to people, don't wish for another person's life. You don't know what they go through behind the scenes. When I'm wearing makeup and I'm on TV and I'm hosting a show, yes, she's pretty, she's beautiful. Oh, I want to be